Hello, welcome to my April plot tour. It's turned quite cold at the moment, so you will see a little bit of a sea of fleece just to keep the wind off, as the temperatures are going down to about 1 or 2 degrees centigrade at night. So this is my first bed that I have been clearing, and that's being prepared for sweet corn. I'm sure you all know in the gardening community that compost is getting really quite expensive, so I put down some chicken manure and some horse manure that's been soaking in water for the last couple of years. So I have netted my strawberries because they are doing quite nicely actually, and have started doing some flowers. So I thought before the birds catch them, pesky little blighters, I'll cover them with nets, which I pull tight so that the birds don't get stuck in them. My overwintering onions continue to grow well. I know they have yellowing leaves, but that's because it's been quite cold at times. I don't know if you can see here, but Mr. Mole has dug a hole and a hill in the middle of this onion bed, but that's okay, no harm done. And down there are my garlic. This bed is a bit of a trial to me. I've put some spring sown onions in here. I'll see if I can lift the cover up a bit to show you. There. And the onions are growing okay, no sign of any carrots. So I'm going to try again next week when the weather heats up a bit. And as I go around here, a beautiful show of flowering red Russian kale, and I've just let it flower because it gives such nice food for the bees and the other pollinators at a time when food is scarce for them. And I've done pretty much the same with this kale, although a lot of the kale I had to shoot and then gave the leaves to the chickens next door. I have some spring cabbages growing here. I'm not too sure when I'm supposed to pick them, so at the moment I'm just leaving them be and crossing my fingers and hoping for the best. That scratching noise is a hen trying to get my attention, so I will give it some greenery. On this bed I have planted out beetroot and turnips, and I've got them covered with fleece just to keep the wind chill off, and they seem to be alright. I put them out about 4 days ago, so I don't think they're doing too badly really. Just to reiterate, I do follow Charles Dowding's suggestions on no dig, so these are all multi-sown and put out early, and I hope that they will grow nice and strong like the ones I did last year will. That little patch over there is self-seeded calendula, so I'm leaving it as a bit of a nursery bed. Here I have potatoes. They were left over from my main potato bed, so I thought I'd just stick them in because we need lots of food at the moment because it's going to be very expensive to buy in the shops. The raspberries are driving me scatty because they are growing everywhere. You can see little raspberry canes shooting up there where they really shouldn't be. And they are quite difficult to get out because they grow along the ground at a very low level, quite deep into the ground. The rhubarb is magnificent. I'm letting it get big enough, so in a couple of weeks I'll pick a load and make a load of raspberry and ginger jam. These are my blackcurrant bushes, and again I've netted them up because the pigeons have been a bit of a pest this year, so they're all netted as well. This bed here are mange too, and that bed at the back are ordinary peas. They're dwarf ones, so they'll only grow to about 4 feet tall. I have to keep topping up the pond because although it's cold, it's also very dry. Our beans are continuing to grow. They look quite healthy, and along here my pride and joy, 2 rows of parsnip, almost complete, but not quite, but I think I'll have plenty to last through the next winter and early spring. small-bored beans. Now if I walk along here, these are Colleen first early potatoes, and I'm not going to uncover them because I've earthed them up, so you won't see anything anyway. But again, I've got them covered up to protect them from the wind and the cold, because we don't want to lose the tops of the leaves while they're very tender, because it impairs the growth of the plant. And I had that happen a couple of years ago and it was very disappointing. So this is another sea of fleece, and that is covering up my main crop potatoes, and they're just starting to show as well. And I've uncovered this bed. This is experimental really. I'm following Monty from My Family Garden in Leeds, who uses partially rotted down wood chips for growing his potatoes in. So I had a load, so I've done a really thick bed, planted them in the ground, and then topped them up with the partially rotted wood chips and leaves. And I've got high hopes because the plants seem to be quite healthy. These pots here I bought to put tomatoes in. At the moment I haven't cut any holes in them, so I'm just putting water in, because as I say, we're going through quite a dry period at the moment. And the compost bin is steadily filling up, as it does. And this compost bin is steadily shrinking down, as it does. So next year, high hopes for the compost in that. So, these are my garlic a bit more close up. I think the netting isn't going to be tall enough when they develop their scapes, because they're all hardneck garlic, but we'll see how we go on. And that is the end of my April pop tour. So just walk back up. This arch I plan to grow squash over. So I'll see you in May, and hopefully it'll have been a lovely warm May with plenty of rain and everything will have gone rampant.